Are you doing a refurbishment at the minute? Then you're going to need a solid procedure when it comes to snagging. And make sure you do these steps as a bare minimum before your builder hands you back the keys, or it could cost you big time. And be sure to watch the full video, no skipping, no, don't do that. You're going to want to watch it all so you get the full benefit and you get all the tips and they'll be good, I promise you. So first of all, what is a snag? And what is snagging? What do these all entail? So a snag can be anything from a leak, an uneven floor, an uneven ceiling or wall, or even in terms of finishes, it could be something like having paint on over your soffit. Maybe. You can't see, but my dog's making as much noise as he can with his bone. So really you want to be testing everything once the builder's said that it's almost finished. You want to be opening doors, checking handles, opening windows, running taps, switching on lights, checking your heating, and making a record basically of anything that doesn't work or anything that's not up to your standards or how you'd like them to be. And we'll talk more about listing those items later on in the video. Snagging, it's a slang word that's used in the industry, and it's commonly referring to the procedure of basically identifying all of those issues and working out a process to putting that right. So in terms of your projects, and if you're planning to build a property portfolio, this is something that you're going to have a really strong process to approach that. I would typically walk around with my builder in an initial snagging visit, then give him a bit of time to put right any issues that I may have or I may have raised, and then I'd walk around with him again just to make sure that those issues have been corrected and it's all up to my standards. So now I've got that out of the way, here are 3 easy and simple steps that I would take to get the best results out of this process. So firstly, what I would do is create a simple snag list and create this well in advance. This list will help prompt you so that you know what to look for, what things to bring up, and what things to discuss with your builder when you actually go around and have a walk around with him. It kind of communicates to the builder that you know what you're talking about, and it gives you a bit of confidence, and it also gives them confidence that you know what you're looking for, you know little small things to look at and things to raise with him. So guys, if we go over to my laptop here, what I've got here open, the project plan and the template that we have in Sapphire Property Investments website. This is the snagging sheet, and when you open it, that will give you some pointers, some little bits to look at and to list. Obviously this is quite a long list of items, you might not need all of these for your project, but this will just help you out. And it's also got an example project populated in here. So as I said, you've got items listed down here of things to look out for and check off. You've got, is it completed? So when you go for your initial visit, you can tick whether yes or no, and then you put the date that you've noted it, and then you've also got a date rectified. So when you go back for your second visit, you can pop in a date for when it needs to be rectified. And then you've got a notes page here. So if you do this on your initial visit and your walk round and you note the items that need fixing or you feel are outstanding, you can note it here, check it. This will give you a prompt for the items, things to look at. Give you a section here that says, is it completed? You just put yes or no in there. If it's a no, you put the date that you've noted it. When you go round for your second visit, you can put the date it was rectified on that visit, and then obviously put the actual more details about the item in that section. The important thing about this is this gives you a comprehensive list for you to send back to your builder. It's managing expectations, so you're both aware of what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done, and more importantly, the date of when it needs to be rectified. If you want me to do a more detailed video on snagging, actually listing items, if you pop snagging in the description box, I can do that for you. And you could have a simple generic list, the type of properties that you currently renovate or the ones that you are renovating if it's a one-off project. It can be really simple, really minimal, and if you are doing more developments that are more complicated, then it can be a more extensive list. So it's just based on what property that you're doing at the present time. Either way, you want to have all of your items listed in almost sections. So you want to, everything that's all to do with electrics, have that all in one section. Everything that's to do with finishes, have all of those items in that section. And for example, those could be, in terms of electrics, you could have things where you're looking at, are the spotlights level? Are they all finished and nice and neat? Do they work? Things like that. And in terms of finishes, You could have, for example, is the paintwork on sockets? Is the paintwork neat? Is it clean? Is it crisp? Is it all in line? There's not paint on things where there shouldn't be paint, for example, on sockets or on cupboards or door frames, things like that. And my next step would be to schedule in your snagging into your program with your builder. And if you've seen my previous video where I discuss the basics of managing a project, I also talk about a rough program in there and how to build one. I'll put that together for your works. In this program, you should really add a section for snagging, and that should really be relevant to your project. So your initial snagging visit, that should be scheduled almost towards the end of the project, but you need to allow enough time for the builder to put right any issues, if you do have any issues that need to be put right. And you want to be really careful with this, because if you don't really give the builder enough time to finish off the works or do it to a certain standard, then you'll literally be walking around snagging everything, listing loads of items that needs to be rectified, and all you'll do is just wind your builder up, to be honest. Trust me, they'll be upset with you. But equally, you don't want to leave it so that it's too late, so that the builder doesn't have enough time to finish all the items that you've listed and that they're rushed through. So you want that level balance. You also want to make sure that you've got an agreed time frame for any issue to be rectified. And my next step is a big step, and that's if you could ping the like button. No, seriously, but my next step would be to make sure you do a second visit to check that all the items that you've raised have been rectified effectively. Now, the beauty of this process is if you do it enough times, if you're like me and you're planning to build your property portfolio, you will have the chance to do this again and again and again. Every time you do it, you're going to get better and better, and you'll be able to spot things that you need to be looking for so much quicker and so much faster. And before you know, you might not even need to have a checklist to prompt you. It will just be there so that you can agree what needs to be done with your builder. It doesn't need to be a massively long list of things to look for. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to think that you've got to do a massively long, extensive snag list. It's all relevant to your project. And the most important thing you need to take away from this whole snagging procedure, you've got your procedure in place so that you've got an agreed system for fixing any issues. Everyone knows what's expected from them. So your builder knows that you're expecting them to fix this by a certain amount of time. So you've got definitive tasks that need to be rectified by definitive dates. So we're basically managing expectations from both sides, and there's no cross wires, and everyone knows what needs to be done and by what time it needs to be done and how it needs to be dealt with, which is a good thing for everyone. Now, as I always say in my videos, I'm a big advocate for you to do your own research. So make sure that you just look this up, get a bit more knowledge around the area, as these are just 3 simple tips. Now, if you're in the East Midlands and you need help with project managing or builder control or planning or any of those things, or even architectural drawings, our details are in the description box. Drop us an email, get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to speak to you. So now that we've gone over 3 easy steps to snag a project, you might be thinking, Sabrina, but how do I even manage the project in the first place? If so, watch this video next, where I give you a few industry tips. But yeah guys, I hope you've liked and enjoyed the video. So if you have, please like, subscribe and comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, bye.